Welcome to the Town Board Workshop, Thursday, October 9th, 7 p.m. in the Town Board Meeting Room. Please rise and salute the flag. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Emergency exits are to my right behind the town clerk and also the door that we entered into the room. Roll, please.
Councilman DeLango?
Here.
Councilwoman Hitzelberger?
Here.
Councilman Perotti?
Present.
Supervisor Perotti?
Here.
And Councilwoman Doyle?
Public comment? I guess not. Town clerk report?
Good evening. I'd like to report that the local share from the town clerk's office has been remitted to the supervisor in the amount of $1,258.25. This week we had the bid opening for snow removal as well as the restoration of well 4A. Within your package you're going to find the results. We had no bids received for the restoration of well 4A, and there were 2 bids received for Kent Construction and Majestic Site Development and Landscaping, and I do note that they're later on the agenda, so I'll leave it at that point until we get to that part on the agenda.
Okay, that's it.
That's it.
Highway Department report. Stanley isn't here, but one of the things he did mention to me, he's getting estimates for a fuel depot. The new parts of the fuel depot are a little complicated, so it was recommended to him that he have an engineer do the specs for him for the fuel depot. So he spoke with Pete Sotero, who said he would charge about $2,500 to do the specs for the fuel depot, because the prices have been ranging wildly between $28,000, $44,000, and and it depends on what type of fuel tank you get, whether you get a double or a single. It's kind of a complicated thing. So I'd like to make a motion to authorize the Highway Department to hire Pete Sotero to do the bid specs for the fuel depot for the highway garage.
Second.
Councilman DeLango?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hitzelberger?
Yes.
Councilman Perotti?
Yes.
And Supervisor Perotti?
Yes. Building Department report.
Town board members, please find September's monthly report for the building department as building permits goes. We have issued 15 new building permits of $4,266.40, along with 1 signed permit fee of $51 and a renewal fee of $175, along with administration fee of $115 for the totals of $4,607.40. We are continuing with certificates of occupancy searches, and for this month we did 6 searches, which total $750. No fire inspections were scheduled this month. The total for the month is $5,357.40. Sincerely, John Fenton, Code Enforcement Officer. And that's it.
Okay, Water District report. We don't have a Water District report. However, we do have a resolution to approve and execute an extension of the water operator's contract for 30 days. Resolution number
46.
Be it resolved by the Town Board of the Town of Amenia, duly convened at a regular session as follows. The Town of Amenia, the town entered into an agreement with Natural Water Services on or about September 25th, 2009, pursuant to which Natural Water Services agreed to render services to the town for the operation and management of the town's water district facilities. To said agreement with NWS was for the duration of 5 years commencing October 5th, 2009, ending on October 5th, 2014. Based on the foregoing and after due deliberation, the town board has determined that it is in the best interest of the town to extend the term of said agreement from October 6th, 2014 to November 5th, 2014, as more particularly set forth in a written extension agreement between the town and NWS as annexed here too. Based on the foregoing, the town supervisor, Victoria Perotti, is hereby authorized to execute said written extension agreement between the town and NWS. Can I make that motion?
I'll second that.
Discussion?
Discussion?
Does the insurance from NWS cover out for, carry out for another month?
As far as I know, from what Marco has told us, NWS is still a valid company.
And they are covered by insurance?
As far as I know, they are.
I mean, you could check when the certificate runs to the policy period, you know, and if it's running out with the contract, the October 5th date, then he can just get a new certificate
Okay.
for the extension period.
Well, it's already October
Okay.
9th.
Yeah. I don't know, you'd have to
We'll have
see
the-
what his certificate says.
Okay, we could base the extension on whether he has insurance or not.
I'd appreciate that.
Okay.
Great.
You can amend the resolution.
Yeah, because
Councilman
let me just say, the extension agreement does mention that all other terms and conditions of the agreement, the prior agreement between NWS and the town shall continue and remain in full force and effect during the term of the extension granted, so he would, you know, certainly be obligated.
Okay.
Councilman Delango?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hitzelberger?
Yes.
Councilman Perotti?
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle, are you abstaining? And Supervisor
Yes.
Party?
Grant report, we'll have a grant report at the next meeting. Mike is busy doing the income survey and to get that done for the Community Development Block Grant application. Committee reports. Snow removal bids.
In your package, you'll notice that we've received 2 snow bids, one from Kent Construction and the other is from Majestic Site Development and Landscaping.
I think one of the things before we accept the bid, we need to decide what snow removal that we actually want to do in the town. Since everything is broken out. The snow removal bids amounts for Majestic Site Development and Landscaping. For Amenia Town Hall, seasonal snow removal was $5,260. Amenia and Wassaic seasonal snow removal was $6,912. Fountain Square seasonal snow removal, $2,592, for a total bid of $14,764. Kent Construction, contract price, snow removal, Town Hall, $16,800. Snow removal, Fountain Square, $10,200. Snow removal, Amenia, $23,600. Snow removal, Wassaic, $14,700. The low bid is Majestic Site Development and Landscaping, but the board needs to decide what exactly you want to, what areas you want the snow, which parts of the snow removal proposal you want to accept.
Where's the town property behind the rail trail? That
Or is that on Mechanic Street?
Yeah, that's that little piece you
Yeah,
said we
Yeah,
owned.
yeah, the little extra
Mhm.
portion.
I'll second.
Well, I think it is going to be a problem in Wassaic if we don't do the sidewalks there. I think people are going to have to help each other out. If we don't do that, it's going to be quite a hard place to walk.
Yeah, I would agree. I think we should accept the entire bid. Both Amenia Town Hall seasonal snow removal and Amenia and Wassaic seasonal snow removal for the total of $14,764. That's what I think.
Any discussion from anyone else?
Now, this bid is covering all the sidewalks, is what we're saying, right?
Right.
Has the one letter that we received from the resident that had a problem with the snow removal, has there been any more?
Well, I haven't received, I actually had individuals come up to me and approach me. Two of
Because
them at the community, at the Indian Rock Schoolhouse. And, you know, elderly, can't afford, on a fixed income, wouldn't be able to afford and physically unable to clear their own sidewalks. And so I'm looking at it from that standpoint. You know, people in this community, they pay a lot of taxes for various items, and this is one thing that they're actually getting paid back for, as far as a community service offered by the town of Amenia. So that's kind of where I'm standing about it from a safety standpoint, from a town business standpoint. We need to maintain a walkable hamlets. And so, in my opinion, I think that is something that we should, you know, once you start doing something like this, I think a good practice is to continue it, not only for the elderly people that are on fixed incomes that are unable to clear their own snow, but for the businesses as well. That's just how I feel.
Well, a couple meetings ago, I asked if we could get, you know, the people that were going to have issues with it, so there could be something that we could figure out to try to help with the snow removal. I've been in the center of town, in the business district for 20 years. And honestly, the sidewalks were better taken care of when the businesses themselves cleaned them. 10 years ago, 12 years ago, whenever we started, you know, doing the sidewalks, that's when we started having problems up at the post office. We started having problems at the corners on Mechanic Street and stuff like that. I just don't think that the bid specs that we're putting out and the way that the people that are doing the bids, I don't think the sidewalks are being taken care of properly. We don't have a salt schedule. We don't have, you know, do we have to remove snow from the curb? We don't have anything like that.
Well, historically, the town has not put salt out to bid
Okay.
because of the expense and also, you know, the damage it can cause.
I mean, I do understand the problem with the elderly and the problem with the people that cannot do their walkways. But again, I've asked a couple times for these people to step up so we could try to figure out the issues and the problem. There is one gentleman that I spoke with in Wassaic, and I do have a plan to try to help these people. Is $14,000, $764, $14,764? I don't think it's awfully high.
It's below budget.
It's below budget, but do I think we're going to get the quality that the town deserves? And I'm not saying anything against the contractor. I'm just saying
This is a totally new contract.
it's a totally new contractor. And it's not against the contractor. It's just about, I mean, I've done those sidewalks. I cleaned them before. I know what it entails. And it just seems like when the property owners were taken care of, them, they were taken care of better. I mean, just an observation I have.
And there's a whole stretch, there's a lot in Wassaic that is long stretches with people who I don't know for sure that they can or can't take care of it. My guess is it's not going to get done.
Yeah.
My best guess. And I think that will be too bad for Wassaic not to be walkable. We worked hard on getting those sidewalks repaired and extended, and there's still more to do in Wassaic. We have fragile businesses, kind of going along, and a lot of pedestrian activity, which is good in the center of town, and a post office, and 14,000 doesn't, 15 basically doesn't sound too bad. I'm concerned, if we could, can we put this off for 2 weeks, or is this something we need to do tonight, and maybe I can find some time to go door to door? I know the people who are down there, and I don't think that they have the resources to do it.
I'm almost,
Some people don't have the resources.
again, I wish we would have had a little more input. I'm almost thinking we kind of keep it going as it was and explore this and actually see how it's taken care of this year. Let's see the problems. We have all summer. You understand? I mean, I want to do what's best for the town. I want to do what's best for the people in the town. But we need feedback. We need to know, you know?
Okay, are we ready to vote?
You got
Because we-
anything, Gretchen?
Because we need to
I just think
accept the
that
bid, or accept it or not accept it.
that just plowing for 2 hamlets when everybody is paying for it, naturally rubs me the wrong way. And then I wish we had gotten much more feedback from the people on these streets so we would know how they feel about it. It disturbs me making a decision without having that type of information.
I mean, do you think 2 weeks would get feedback? I mean, what do you think, Vicki?
I think the people who are listening tonight, this issue is now back before them again, and we can make a more concerted effort in 2 weeks to see if we can poll the people who have the sidewalk and find out what their issues are. I'd be willing to do that. I have a little bit of time this weekend. I could do,
Could we?
Do we need to
I could take
accept the bid
Mosaic,
tonight?
and if we
No?
could just
Okay.
postpone it.
You don't have to accept.
I mean, we
We
could
don't
table
have,
it.
we don't
Like
have
30
to
days,
accept or
right?
reject the bid tonight.
Correct.
Okay.
So
As
your
long as
next
we don't
meeting-
have to accept or reject the bid tonight, we can table it to the October 23rd meeting, because we have time.
Good. And
To
then,
Wassaic, and if you could, you
and
already
then
know.
we'll go through there. I mean,
Right.
if you want me to come down with you, I'll come down with you. It's just, we need the input from the people.
Yeah.
I would love to get the input from the people.
Okay.
All right?
Okay, we can go ahead
Victoria.
and do that.
The only comment I would make, and I'm not familiar with what the notice said specifically, but whether or not under Amenia and Wassaic seasonal snow removal, I mean, I don't see where it does it refer to the sidewalks here.
That was in the bid.
It was in the
specs.
bid. Okay.
That was part of the bid spec.
Okay, yeah, I didn't see
Yeah,
that.
everything was laid out in there.
So save that, because that's part of my report, October.
Okay, the Lavelle Road bids, we didn't receive any bids. However, we had some discussion about this at the Water Committee meeting last night. And I've also been talking to our wetlands representative, who's changed from Heather Gearloff to Jonathan Russell. And I put a call in to permits at DEC. And because what we were looking at is all of the authorized activity In the original permit that we have, the project activities consist of a gravel footpath to the existing pump house, a gravel access to the existing well, installation of a water main that's supposed to be valved, removal and replacement of fire hydrant, and installation of a 6x6 pressure-treated edging barrier. And looking at this and talking to the water committee, and then Mike and I have had some discussion too, and I also talked to Marco, there's really no reason to do the removal and replacement of a fire hydrant. That fire hydrant serves no purpose there. There would be several $1,000s cost to the town, and we don't have to do it. So the other part of this, the installation of a water main valve. There is a valve there, it's in the road, and if that valve gets moved closer to the pump house and the wetland, it's going to disturb the wetland in a big area, which means it's, first of all, the whole project is a major cost to the town, probably be $20,000 or more. And there's really no reason that I could see that we need to move it. I mean, we know where it is, it has a riser on it. If we need to get to it, we can dig it up. And if we move it over closer to the pump house, then it, in a heavy snow, it's going to be underneath the snow, and then you're going to have to find it and dig it out. And I don't know, it doesn't seem like an expense that the town should have to have. So what the permit people told me, if I wanted to extend the permit, that I just needed to write a letter, and if I wanted to remove anything from the permit, that I just need to do, in order for them to do a modification, I'd include that in a letter to them. But I think what we need to decide, as a board, which one of these project activities do we really want to do? The gravel footpath to the existing pump house seems the most critical to me because there's no path. And we're talking about a road, but we're not talking road in the sense, we're talking more of a, a gravel path to get to the pump house, because there's no way to get to the well. There's no way to get to the well right now other than going through the vegetation and, just trying to find it the best you can. There's a couple of trees that are down over it that need to be removed. And the other part was the gravel access, a gravel footpath to the existing pump house. That is a very short path. It's in, there's a picture of it in the map that's attached to this. So what we need to do going forward is see how much of this work that we really actually need to do. I mean, the map has a lot more of the work that needs to be done. Obviously, we need to have the existing trees removed because they're, blocking the well right now. And as far as all the plantings it talks about here, the wetland has, since the original permit, which started out in 2006 and 2007, the wetland has reclaimed itself. I mean, it's grown back. There's a lot of vegetation there. It looks really good. And I think whatever we decide to do there, we need to do with as little disturbance of the wetland as possible, which would be, the road and the little access path to the pump house. So if you would, read this through, look at it, think about it, and let me know, what I need to put in this letter so that we can do what needs to be done there. There's also, I believe, some grading that needs to be done because some of the water goes into the pond there, and I'll be looking into that too. But the two big items on there is the replacement of the fire hydrant and replacing of the valve would be the most expensive parts on this. I don't think the town needs to spend the money and do. We did have a bid, I guess they were going to do this a couple of years ago. We did have a bid for the road to the well, and I think it was something like $5,900, because we're only talking a small area. It's like 40 feet that we're talking about. So if, you want to look at it, think about it, and then let me know what you want to do when I, send the letter to the DEC for modification or extension. All the planting part of this that was in there, really, we don't need to do. The DEC seems to be happy with the regrowth, the natural regrowth that's there. So, there would be very limited planting that would need to be done. So, before we go out, there is a contractor who actually, came to, look at the information too late, who bid on this back in, I think it was 2010, to do the work, and then the work was never done, who's, interested in doing whatever, we decide we want to do there.
When did they change their mind about renewing the permit? The reason we went down this path is because we couldn't get a renewal on the permit, you said.
No, well, I was told that so DEC did not want to renew, this permit goes through 12/31, didn't want to renew it, but when I talked to the permit people, they didn't have a problem with renewing it or modifying it, because I said to them, well, there's a couple things in here we don't want to do. So they said we could do a modification, and actually a modification would happen a lot quicker than doing a new permit, because they get really excited when you're going to take things out that you're not going to do to restore the wetlands. So they were really, happy about those two things. So I just, want to get a clear, some clear ideas from the board on, where you want to go with this. Because I think the most important thing that needs to be done there is the road to the well. Because if the pump needs to be pulled, you need to have some access to the well.
And when did those trees go down?
I don't know. I was just there the other day.
Did the water
and
committee have any idea? And I thought the wells were supposed to be checked daily.
It's one of those storms, they don't know when.
Well,
So
both
that
trees
well's not
aren't
gonna be
down.
checked
There's other trees
daily?
the other trees have to be
I think it's
removed
in the
for well
contract.
access. It isn't just trees that are down. One of them, I think, fell down. But the two trees they were talking about in this permit, one is still standing and one isn't. So, but we do have, an existing permit, but it needs to be modified or extended. I don't think it needs to be extended if we're just going to do those two pieces of it, because from talking to contractors, that work would take 2 or 3 days to do,
That's quick.
because it's just such a small area. So, I think, we want to put it out to bid again, and, want to do the footpath and the gravel access to the existing well. I mean, we're talking a 2 or 3 day job.
Well, let's put it on the agenda for next meeting then.
Okay. But I wanted you to,
Yeah.
to let you know what I found out and my thoughts on it. And then you can decide, how you want to proceed. Transfer funds. Resolution number,
Which one are you doing? I'm sorry.
for the dance program.
47?
Whereas the town board has the authority to transfer funds when necessary and unanticipated to amend the budget. Whereas town board line 2081.1, other cultural and recreation income, needs to increase revenue $470 in grant monies from the State of New York Department of Children and Family Services for the youth dance program. Whereas the town budget line 71504.1.74, special recreation facilities, supplies, requires an increase of $470. Therefore, be it resolved, the town board authorize the increase of $470 to said line to process the transaction. Can I make that motion?
Second.
Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hitzelberger?
Yes.
Councilman Perotti?
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
And Councilman Delango?
Yes.
Okay, transfer of funds to amend the budget for the senior trip, 10/8/2014. Whereas the town board has the authority to transfer funds when necessary and unanticipated to amend the budget. Whereas the town budget revenue line item 201.01 Parks and Rec senior trips requires a budget increase in the amount of $1,448.50, and the expense line item 67724.1.87 programs for the aging senior trips requires an increase of $1,448.50 to allocating the cost of senior trip with the revenue collected through the sale of tickets. It is further resolved that the town board authorize the transfer of funds necessary to amend the budget. I make that motion.
Second.
Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hitzelberger?
Yes.
Councilman Perotti?
Yes.
Councilman Doyle?
Yes.
And Councilman Delango?
Yes.
Okay, resolution number 49, authorize the town board to amend the budget. Whereas the town board has the authority to transfer funds when necessary and unanticipated to amend the budget. Whereas the town budget line 19004.1.049 contingency requires a decrease of $4,635, and line item 13301.01 tax collector personal service requires an increase of $4,635 for the tax collector's 2014 salary. Whereas the town budget revenue line 2555.01 requires a budget increase in the amount of $4,280, and the expense item 36204.1.71 safety inspection CE requires an increase of $4,280 to refund an unused building permit. I make that motion.
Second.
Supervisor Perotti?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hitzelberger?
Yes.
Councilman Perotti?
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
And Councilman Delango?
Yes.
Okay, we have, the Water Committee has been working on an updated water laws, and wanted to see if we can get a decision. What they've done is, in addition to updating the current water laws, they're also adding some penalties and fees based on some of the work that's being done that we're not being compensated for, and also to increase revenue for the water district. And wanted to know if the board at this time wanted to give them to the attorney for review.
I would think that would be a good thing to have done. So they have done what they were asked to do. The committee has consolidated the two laws so that the lawyer doesn't have to go through both laws.
Yes.
So that's where we were
This is
headed.
one.
And this is
Send it to
what we've done.
Denise, let her go with her comments, and then we'll go through our comments.
Right. I'll make a motion that we send the Water District Number 1, New York 1302759, proposed law, water law to our attorney.
I'll second that.
Discussion? No. Roll, please.
Councilman Delango?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hitzelberger?
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
Councilman Perotti?
Yes.
And Supervisor Perotti?
Okay, we've been working on the 2015 tentative budget. All of the changes that are recommended will go into the next step, which is the preliminary budget, which I will finish completing this weekend and give it to the town clerk. What I wanted to do to see if there's a day and time that we would be able to meet to review the preliminary.
Tuesday at 7:30.
The 14th.
Is there any way we can do that earlier?
I have a grant seminar at 4:30 in Red Hook. I think I'd be done. I think I could do both meetings. Just be a long day, but I could do it.
Okay.
The 14th, right? I'm good with that.
Right now, with the changes that we recommended in our discussions, we are below the tax cap. Actually, we're $25,806 under the tax cap. So we can...
That's good, right?
Let's see if we can preserve that.
Well, yeah, that's what, so if you want to, we'll look at it and see if we have some wiggle room.
Okay.
Other matters, we voted to send a ethics complaint that we had to the ethics board, and they met on Wednesday to review the information. They feel that they will need outside counsel to look at this. The attorney that they've used before is Warren Ruplansky. They gave me a contract, said I am willing to represent the Board of Ethics as its counsel in all matters at my municipal hourly rate at $175 an hour. Will also be billed for disbursements such as overnight mailing, long-distance phone calls, and extraordinary copying charges. They feel that that's going to be required for this issue.
Make a motion, we approve it.
I'll second it.
Councilman Delango?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hitzelberger?
Yes.
Councilwoman Doyle?
Yes.
Councilman Brody?
No.
Supervisor Brody?
Yes. And I believe that's all I have for other matters. Does anyone else have anything? Public comment?
Hi, Kevin Casone, Amenia. Sorry, no, not a fashion statement. I had a procedure on my eyes the other day. Excuse me. Getting up to speak about the Proposition 5, which we now know it'll be Proposition 5 in the November ballot. The proposition to make our elected assessor an appointed one. I think we should stick with an elected position. I don't see why any American wants to be stripped of their right to vote. This is the person who decides how deep into our pockets the town will go. And I think it should stay elected. So anybody who has opinions on this, we have Democrats, Republicans, and Independents coming to political rally of all viewpoints on this coming Saturday at the Four Brothers Drive-In. Family friendly. We're hoping to just have, exchange of ideas. I'm willing to, we'll listen to anybody. Of course, I made my opinion very strongly known, that I think we should stay with an elected position. Like I said, I don't really know why any American would want to give up their right to vote. So please come if you want to find out all the details. I can't go into it now in 5 minutes. I couldn't even go into it on a 500-word editorial in the Millerton News. That's just not enough room or enough time or enough words. But if you want to hear what's going on from 3 to 5 this coming Saturday, October 11th, Four Brothers Drive-In, please show up. Please come. And anybody listening, tell 10 friends and tell them to come too. And have them call 10 friends. And then we'll get a good turnout. Thank you very much.
Is there any other public comment? Town board comments?
I mentioned that the dance program is underway. We've had 2 workshops on Saturdays from 10 to 1. It sounds like a long time to hold the attention of children ranging in age, and age is really from 6 until high school children from the area. But Heather Holohan does a great job. She is engaging and funny and fun, and she blends movement and dance and theater art skills and vocal skills all into a really wonderful workshop for every age and every talent. She is a pro, and it's a pleasure just to even watch these workshops in progress. After 2 sessions, 2 of these 4-hour sessions, one child said to her mom, if we start narrowing this down to more focused groups so that I only go from 10 to 12, can I stay longer anyway? Because it's so much fun. And her goal, said Heather at one point to the kids, was that was the first week that she was there. She said to the kids at one point, my goal is next week to have you all laughing so hysterically I have to beg you to stop laughing. And they are having a ball. There's 25 kids that showed up last weekend, and there was about 20 that came to the initial workshop on September 27th. And I'm glad to report that not only did our numbers increase, but there was a good repeat. So our biggest problem has been trying to hold kids in the program to the completion so that they have a polished performance at the end of the 10 sessions. In this case, we're off to a good start. It looks like we're going to have good retention. The kids are enthusiastic. They come with already, they had audition, some of them had performance, practiced and prepared for their audition so that Heather can cast each child, each student in a role for their musical review to showcase their particular skills. So each child, if they don't have singing skills, they'll be put in a dancing program. And already I heard a song that sounded like it was almost ready to roll in four-part harmony, and then the kids were dancing a dance that looked like it was almost ready to roll. So she is amazingly clever at getting a lot done in the 4-hour workshop. If you haven't yet attended and your child is considering doing it, come on Saturday and we will see how we can perhaps incorporate you. As probably this weekend is probably the last weekend that they could probably participate and still participate in the final performance. That will be on Saturday, December 13th, if the weather cooperates, and it'll be part of our Holiday of Lights program. So I'm just really, really happy to see that it's progressing so well.
Any other town board comments?
October is Cybersecurity Awareness Month. If you haven't heard about it and you're a Mac, Linux, or Unix owner, there's been a really serious and critical break in the bash that needs to be corrected. So if you haven't run your bash update on your computer, please contact your manufacturer, your software operating system manufacturer, get the update for your system. It's so severe that we had 300 people working where I work for 9 days, updating every single computer, and computers that could not be updated were destroyed. So take the time and update your operating system. Thanks.
Any other town board comment?
Yeah, I just wanted to promote the Weebatuck Central School District Annual Car Show, October 25th, 2014, from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Definitely, it's going to be at the high school. We would greatly appreciate everybody to get out there and support the kids.
How much is it? Is it there a entrance
It's a
fee?
fundraiser,
Yeah,
right?
it's a
Yeah,
fundraiser.
it's like $5 a person or something like
Yeah.
that? or-
I just wanted to give the date.
Okay,
So,
good.
Okay, supervisors report. The only thing I wanted to report that there is a breakfast at the Wassaic Firehouse by the Wassaic Ladies Auxiliary. It's always a great breakfast. It starts at 8, I think it goes 8 through 11. And they have an assortment of great food. There's pancakes, sausage, bacon, any eggs, any way you like them. So please support the Wassaic Ladies Auxiliary.
Is that Sunday?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, 8 to 11?
Yeah, 8 to 11 this Sunday.
Blueberry pancakes. Be there.
And at this time, I would like to make a motion to go into executive session and go out of the regular meeting.
Second.
I just really
Or-
exactly the time.
For employment history of a person or
7:47.
Employment
corporation.
history of a person or corporation.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?